on Tuesday to discuss the country's credit rating and falling currency. Fitch last week downgraded South Africa's credit rating to one notch above junk status, in line with that of Standard & Poor's. On Wednesday, President Jacob Zuma replaced Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene, sending the rand to new record lows against the US dollar. Well, Tumaole Mohlaoli covered that cabinet press briefing this morning. He joins us now on live from Pretoria. Tumaole, good afternoon. What can we expect from this cabinet meeting on our troubled economy on Tuesday?
Well, good afternoon. Minister in the Presidency Jeff Radebe basically saying that the announcement which the Presidency revealed, where they said that, of course, Minister Nene has been replaced in the finance portfolio as Finance Minister, caught the Cabinet by surprise. Minister Radebe was very, very frank and very, very direct in saying that it is the President's prerogative to replace and reshuffle his Cabinet as he sees fit. So really just alluding to the fact that the Cabinet Ministers were caught just as surprised as the rest of the country. But in terms of how the markets have reacted, the Minister just saying that the markets will react as they do. They will be watching it very, very closely. Of course, there is going to be that cabinet meeting next week whereby the cabinet ministers, especially the ministers in the financial cluster, will try and see how the country can react and basically deal with this downgrading of our economy. This will have various negative impacts and knock-on effects, something that the Minister and the Presidency is very much aware of. And this is exactly what the ministers will be discussing to try to see how they're going to mitigate the impact of this downgrading, because it will have certain direct implications for exports, imports and tariffs, as well as the country's fiscus. Of course, the country is also reeling from the impact of the worst drought that's been seen in decades, and these will be some of the issues that the ministers will be dealing with and trying to find solutions to.
All right, so let's just take a listen to that clip. Jeff Radebe there just talking earlier about that economic cabinet meeting taking place on Tuesday. Let's take a listen.
Cabinet did discuss the issue of the economy on Wednesday, including the report of the downgrade by Fitch and Standard & Poor's. The former Minister of Finance gave an extensive presentation on these matters, but it was not concluded because there's a special meeting that is going to be convened on Tuesday, the 15th of December, by all clusters, in particular the economic cluster, to look at these matters in details.
All right, Tumaole, you also mentioned earlier in your answer a few moments ago the issue of the new Finance Minister, David van Rooyen. So the cabinet meeting took place on Wednesday. Did the issue of the new Finance Minister come up in that meeting? All right, we seem to have lost Tumaole there. He was covering that briefing of the Presidency Jeff Radebe earlier on today. Let's try and just find out exactly what Jeff Radebe did say about the issue of David van Rooyen, the new Finance Minister, and whether or not it did indeed come up at that cabinet meeting. Let's take a listen.
The cabinet took place on Wednesday. So at the conclusion of the cabinet meeting, there was no new Minister of Finance, Minister van Rooyen. So there was no way that would have predicted, because we are not sangomas. Speaking for myself, I don't think Cabinet was have any idea that there was going to be a reshuffle, because this is the prerogative of the President. So my original answer also is my response to that question.
Mr. Jeff Radebe, the Minister in the Presidency, confirming that the issue of the new Finance Minister, Des van Rooyen, did not come up in that cabinet meeting on Wednesday. Okay, it's been a turbulent